Democracy Now! Flew with President Zelaya from Managua, the Nicaraguan capital, to Honduras. On Sunday, we sat down with him at his home in Tegucigalpa. I asked President Zelaya to talk about what happened the day of the coup, June 28, 2009.
Un presidente electo,
a president who was elected by the people,
fue sacado a balazos,
was taken out of his home at gunpoint,
una madrugada,
in the early morning wee hours,
en ropa de cama,
in his pajamas,
y dejado abandonado en Costa Rica,
and taken and abandoned in Costa Rica,
en el aeropuerto de Costa Rica,
in the airport of Costa Rica.
But first, can you tell me what exactly happened here? What time was it?
Pero primero, ¿qué pasó
what did you hear? How did you wake up?
¿A qué hora era? ¿Cómo es que escuchó algo?
Yo llegué a las 3:30 de la mañana.
I arrived to my home at 3:30 in the morning.
Al día siguiente teníamos una encuesta de opinión pública a nivel nacional.
The next day, we were going to have a referendum, public referendum throughout the whole nation.
Un referéndum no vinculante, era solo de opinión.
It was only an opinion poll, basically, and it was not legally binding.
14,000 urnas colocadas en todo el país.
14,000 polls placed all over the country.
Y se creó una conspiración internacional.
And there was an international conspiracy.
Para decir que aquí estaba entrando el comunismo.
In order to say that communism was entering into this country.
Que aquí estaba entrando el plan Caracas para destruir a Estados Unidos.
And that the Caracas plan was going to enter in to destroy the United States.
Y que estábamos destruyendo el imperio norteamericano.
And that we are destroying the U.S. empire.
Si dejaban que esa encuesta se realizara.
If they would let that opinion poll take place.
Muchos incautos, empresarios, grupos de poder cayeron en esa trampa.
Many who were business leaders and others, high society folks, they fell into that trap.
Este golpe de Estado lo dio la derecha norteamericana en Honduras.
This coup d'etat was made by the right wing of the United States.
Esa madrugada,
that early morning hours, in the wee hours of that morning,
empezaron a someter a la Guardia de Honor.
They started to pressure the honor guard.
Más o menos a las 5:15 de la mañana.
They came here at 5:15 in the morning.
Empezaron disparos aislados.
There were isolated shots that were fired in the neighborhood.
Algunos disparos en esta calle.
Some in this street over here.
Y otros por la parte de atrás.
And others in the back part of the house.
Usted ve, esta es una pequeña casa de clase media.
You can see that this is a small house, middle class.
Es fácil asaltarla.
It's easy to assault this house.
Yo me desperté a los balazos.
I was woken by the gunshots.
Bajé en ropa de cama.
I went downstairs in my pajamas.
A la primera planta, al patio, a la parte de afuera.
To the first floor and the patio on the outside.
En el momento en que los balazos estaban impactando en las puertas de afuera.
At that very moment, the gunshots were impacting on the door in the back.
Yo me tiré, la primera reacción, tirarme al suelo y cubrirme de los balazos.
My first reaction was to hit the floor and to cover myself from the gunshots.
Cuando los militares en ese momento entraron al patio de atrás.
When that is the moment in which the military entered into the patio in the back.
Me amenazaron con sus rifles.
They threatened me with their rifles.
M16.
M16 machine guns.
Me dijeron que era una orden militar.
They said that it was a military order.
Eso fue a gritos porque querían que yo me sometiera, que entregara el celular que tenía.
And they were shouting at me and they were ordering me to give my cell phone because I was talking on my phone.
Eran más de unos 10 militares con capucha.
There were more, ¿cuántos, perdón?
10.
There were more than 10 military who were hooded.
Los que entraron a la casa.
Who entered into the house, actually.
Pero afuera habían como 200 o 300.
But outside there were 200 to 300.
Ellos solo se veía los ojos, no estaban cubiertos.
The only thing you could see were their eyes. Everything else was covered.
Y me rodearon,
and they surrounded me.
me amenazaron
They threatened me
que iban a disparar.
that they were going to shoot.
Y yo le dije, si tiene orden de disparar, dispare.
And I said to them, if you have orders to shoot, then shoot me.
Pero sepa que le está disparando al presidente de la República.
But know that you are shooting the president of the republic.
Y usted es un subalterno.
And you are an subalternate. You are an underling.
Y ellos no dispararon,
And so they did not shoot at me.
sino que solo me sometieron a que me acompañara al vehículo así en ropa de cama.
And so they forced me to go to their vehicles outside with my pajamas on.
Aterrizamos en la base militar norteamericana de Palmerola.
We landed in the U.S. military base of Palmerola.
Ahí se reabasteció de combustible.
There they refueled.
Hubieron movimientos afuera, yo no sé con quién hablaron.
There
afuera.
were some movements that happened outside. I don't know what conversations
Unos
took place.
15, 20 minutos estuvimos ahí.
About 15, 20 minutes we waited there in the
Y
airport
después,
of
y después
Palmerola.
a Costa Rica. Ya lo
And then-
demás es público.
Then to Costa Rica, and everything else is public after that.
Why were you brought to the U.S. military base? It is not that far to fly from Tegucigalpa Airport to Costa Rica. Why would you be brought to the U.S. military base? And they must have had the U.S. military's permission.
Mire, el Departamento de Estado siempre ha negado
The U.S. State Department has always denied,
y sigue negando su
and they
vinculación con el golpe.
continue to deny their any ties with the government. Vínculos con?
Con el golpe.
With the coup d'état.
Sin embargo, todas las pruebas los incriminan.
Nevertheless, all of the proof incriminate the U.S. government.
Y todas las acciones que hace el gobierno de facto del golpista.
And all of the actions that were taken by the de facto regime or the golpista regime, which are those who carried out the coup.
Es para favorecer
And it is to make favor of
la política industrial,
the industrial policies
militar
and the military policies
y financiera
and the financial
de
policies
Estados Unidos en Honduras.
of the United States in Honduras.
Was your daughter Pichu in the house?
En mi casa había 3 personas.
In my house, there were 3 people.
La muchacha que trabaja con nosotros,
The woman who cleans the house and who works here,
que tiene 10 años de trabajar,
and she has 10 years working with
es
us.
una persona de mucha confianza.
She is a woman of great trust.
Ella sigue aquí, se llama
And she continues to work here. Her name is Suyapa.
Ella fue sacada, jalada del pelo, fue sacada.
She was taken out and they dragged her by pulling out her hair.
Porque los militares, después de que me capturaron,
Because the military, after they captured me,
entraron a las habitaciones.
they entered into each one of the rooms.
Rompieron todas las habitaciones con las culatas.
And they broke into the rooms through using their rifle butts,
Buscando a mi esposa y a mi hija.
looking for my wife and for my daughter.
Mi hija es muy delgada y se metió debajo de la cama.
My daughter is very thin, and so she went underneath the bed.
La Suyapa
Suyapa, the cleaning lady,
es muy gorda, no se podía esconder.
and she's a little overweight, and so she could not hide.
La agarraron del pelo
So
y la
they
sacaron.
grabbed her by her hair and they took her away.
La Pichu, que se llama mi hija Xiomara Hortensia, se quedó bajo de la cama, no la encontraron.
Pichu, whose real name is Xiomara Hortensia, she hid under the bed and they didn't find her.